Hello, my name is Cathal Spellman and I'm here to talk to you about money and how we can have a better money system. So let's take it from the beginning. What is money? Money is a token system that we use to exchange goods and services. That's all. And it's very convenient because you don't have to drag a bag of potatoes down to the petrol station and swap it for some petrol for your car. You can use cash instead. So barter is a bit inconvenient, and money makes it convenient in a modern society, which would be great. Except something terrible has happened. Our money supply has been privatized and taken over by private corporations, which we call banks. And the banks issue the money as debt to us, which shouldn't happen in the first place because it really should be ours to issue to ourselves. But not only that, they issue the money as debt and demand that it be repaid. So when we as a people need money for building houses or buying cars or buying computers or anything we need to do, somebody somewhere has to take a loan so that the production can happen, so that the goods can be bought. Now, please bear in mind, that's not the only way that money could be distributed. It's just the way it's done right now. And the reason it's done that way is because it's very profitable for these private corporations that we call banks. And the reason it's profitable is because they issue the money as debt and then demand that the person who took on the debt or took the loan, whether it was a mortgage or credit card debt or whatever it may be, they've got to go out into the marketplace, into the world, and sell services or goods or whatever it may be, or take a job and pay that money back to the bank. But there's something else that they have to pay as well, which we know as interest. So that leads to a problem, which is a mathematical problem, that M, or the money supply, which the banks create as debt, is less than M, or the money that has to be paid back, plus I, the interest that the banks demand, in addition to the money that they create as debt. And bear in mind that the money is created as debt, but the interest is not ever created. And actually the only way in our economy that these debts plus interest, or the money plus interest, is able to be paid back is by somebody else getting another loan. And this causes a need for constant expansion of the money supply just to pay this ever increasing burden of interest. And you'll understand that if money is created as debt but has to be paid back in addition, including interest, then the burden of interest is going to grow all the time, because every time somebody then gets another loan, and that money is used to pay back a previous loan plus interest, so that loan has to be bigger. But then that loan itself carries with it the burden of interest. So the burden of interest grows and grows and grows until eventually this has to collapse. And we're in the middle of that in many countries in the world. I'm in Ireland, and it's particularly bad here. It's bad in America, it's bad all over Europe, and maybe Asia's not experiencing it right now, but it's pretty bad in most of the world. And it will come to every country, because in just about every country that's how money is issued. Now, I'm here to say that it doesn't have to be like that. But first of all, I want to make it clear to you that you are a debt slave. And that means that you are enslaved by this system, and that's the way the system is set up, to enslave you energetically, so that you must go and work and you must borrow the money that you need for your everyday life. And then you must work to repay that money plus interest. And that becomes a drain on your wealth and the wealth of everyone else, and enslaves you, because you have to use your energy to pay back this interest, which actually is never created, and enslaves us all. Individually, it enslaves us, it enslaves businesses and entire countries to their governments, which are complicit in all of this by allowing the debt money system to exist. But of course, we the people are the ones who put the governments there. So we personally have to accept responsibility for this situation. So actually you are to blame for this mess. And that's nothing personal, but it's a fact. And the great thing is, though, if you and I and all of us wake up to the fact that the responsibility of ours is ours, then we also wake up to the fact that the power is ours too, because once we accept responsibility for this situation, we take back the power to change it. So let's stop blaming them and understand that it's our fault for allowing it to happen. So then we can understand if it's our fault, we can take action to change it. And because the great thing is that the chains of debt slavery, as if you look at your wrists, there aren't shackles on them. So these chains are actually imaginary. And it's only by our fear and our belief that there's only one way of doing things. It's the only reason that this cruel system of debt enslavement can continue. And once we realize that we can change the system, then we can change the system. So you'll be asking yourself by now, well, what's the plan? Well, the plan is we all work together and we create debt-free, interest-free money. If you're looking for me to have all the answers, well, I'm sorry. We need to work together on this, and it's not for you to sit there and say, well, give it all to me on a plate, or there ain't going to be nothing happening to get me off my ass. No, we all have to get off our collective asses and come together and work on this together. I'm going to make some suggestions. Debt-free, interest-free money is, I believe, the solution. Gold is not the solution. Gold has always been controlled by the banking elite, the Rothschilds and all these other banking elite people, and they will continue to control the supply of gold. They used gold to enslave the countries of Europe and America in debt and to start the colonial expansion all around the world. Gold also constricts the money supply and puts the control into the people who possess the gold. So I don't believe that a gold system is the way to go. I do understand how people get confused about it, though, because the gold system of backing money grew up at the same time as usury, and usury actually is the problem. The lending of our money to us at interest is actually the problem. And so fractional reserve banking really is the problem. Some people say that fiat money is the problem, and that's not actually the case at all. It was usury and fractional reserve banking that has caused all the problems that we have in the world today. And it was done on a so-called gold standard, and it was done using a fiat money system like we have today. So it doesn't matter whether we change from fiat money to a gold standard if we keep the same usury system of debt-based money, then we're going to stay in debt slavery. So the most important thing is that our money should be issued debt-free and interest-free. It should be issued by the people and to the people and for the benefit of the people. Therefore, any money that needs to be issued should be issued directly to the people, debt-free and interest-free. That means that whatever money is in circulation can stay in circulation for now, but more money will be needed to be put into circulation, because the debt-based, interest-bearing money, as we've been using up till now, is inherently deflationary, because more and more money is always being pulled out of the economy to pay back the financial sharks, the interest that they demand. So as a result, there's always a shortage of money, and that's the way that the monopolist private banks like things to be, because when you're in a monopoly, you always constrict the supply so that you'd be paid more for the use of it. So everybody's scrambling for money because there's not enough of it. So therefore the banks can charge more interest and be more in control and get more of our assets in return for the money that they give out to us in very small amounts. So my proposal is for debt-free, interest-free money, which will be given in sufficient amounts so that we can buy what we can produce. In all sincerity, isn't that what money should be for? That we can buy what we can produce. Bear in mind, it's only a token system. What's real is you, your family, and other people, and the goods and services that we can exchange among ourselves so that we can live a happy, healthy life. So let's get back to what money should really be. So debt-free, interest-free money issued directly to the people. The nice thing about this is you get a check. You will get that money will be issued by a national credit office and delivered directly to you at home for you to spend into circulation as you see fit, and by your wise choices how you're going to spend your money, you will automatically select the best businesses and entrepreneurs and service providers and providers of goods who do the best job, and they will mostly prosper. And that's how a sane world could actually work. Now, the question arises, well, how would we get this started? Maybe tomorrow we should wake up and it's going to be perfect. Well, it's not going to be perfect because the banking elite don't want this to happen. They want to stop this anywhere. They're prepared to kill people and start wars to make sure that this doesn't happen. Saddam Hussein tried to go a little bit independent in his way. He got stopped. Gaddafi wanted to create some kind of an independent currency. He got stopped. So the international financial elite will continue to behave like that as long as we generally stay asleep and just watching television and taking it from them how things are going to be. But if we get aware of what's going on in our world and take some action, well then we're very hard to stop because we are many and they are few. So simply what we need to do is create debt-free, interest-free money. Now, if there's enough of us in an entire country, we can mandate our government to create debt-free, interest-free money. But if not, we can do it in a street or we can do it in a town. So this has been done in many parts of the world. In the United States, when their colonies were becoming free of British colonial rule, and in many different countries around the world during the Depression era. Although we don't hear about it, many towns, even in cities in different parts of the world, they created their own money. And money has value once people accept it. Ideally, of course, we should institute it through a government, because then the government will mandate, well, we'll accept this in payment of taxes, and once you can pay your taxes with it, it becomes pretty good money that everybody is going to be happy to accept. But even without that, we can do it on a local basis and in towns and cities. It's just a question of us standing up on our feet and having some backbone and telling our neighbours and everyone else that this is what we want. We want debt-free, interest-free money, and we want to be free men and women, and we want our children to grow up free as well. It's really as simple as that, and I hope you're going to join in with this. You can add your comments here. There's a page called Fair Money Ireland on Facebook, and if you can put together a website, you can help us put together a website. We can start this in Ireland, but we can do it in many different countries in the world. I hope you're not going to get distracted by gold and other silly ideas that come along. I also hope you won't be distracted by any chaotic ideas that come out of the global financial elite for a one world currency or any nonsense like that. What we need, debt-free, interest-free money directly issued to the people and nothing else.